In the quiet stillness of the soul, there echoes a divine voice, a call that resonates through eternity, reaching out to all who have ears to hear. Christ tells us clearly, "Many are called, but few are chosen," and he gently reminds us, "My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me." Here lies our first lesson, a profound balance between calling and response. Like the delicate equilibrium of creation itself, God's call reaches universally, yet the choosing rests within the intimacy of a personal response. Our hearts are the resonant chambers that receive his voice. It is not enough simply to hear, one must respond. And in that response, Christ affirms us, recognizing us as his own. To ignore this calling is to lose balance and miss the harmony of divine purpose. Thus we each must reflect deeply. Are we truly answering his call, or merely hearing it echo faintly in the distance? Answering Christ's call, however, is not a step taken without trials. Immediately the chosen find themselves confronted by spiritual battles. Battles unseen by human eyes, yet intensely real within the spirit. It is here Christ instructs his followers in courage, a courage far removed from earthly bravado. It is a strength rooted deeply in divine wisdom and trust. Paul's words to the Ephesians ring clearly in our hearts, reminding us we battle not flesh and blood, but spiritual forces and powers beyond sight. Moses encouraged the Israelites similarly, urging them to be courageous because God goes before them. Trust in God births courage. Courage leads to spiritual victory. But without trust, we falter and fall prey to fear. Christ calls us, therefore, to stand firm, unshaken, and unwavering, armored in his truth, righteousness, and faith. In every challenge we face, the gentle yet firm question remains: are we courageous warriors, steadfast as pillars, unwavering in truth? Yet this life of faith is more than isolated acts of courage. It is an ongoing story whose every word, every deed reverberates into eternity. Christ teaches us carefully that nothing we do is insignificant. Every choice shapes our legacy. Like the ancient Egyptian vision of the heart weighed against the feather of truth, Scripture affirms our deeds, both seen and unseen, will be weighed before the judgment seat of Christ. We must choose wisely, laying up treasures in heaven rather than on earth. To neglect righteousness weakens our eternal legacy, leaving our lives devoid of purpose, leading to loss. Conversely, acts of compassion, service, and love echo positively into eternity, becoming treasures no earthly decay can destroy. Christ asks of us gently yet urgently, are we building for eternity, or wasting our precious moments in pursuit of fleeting pleasures? In every believer's journey, there arises another profound lesson Christ imparts: the wisdom to transcend duality, embracing the reality of darkness and light in our world. Christ himself embodies the eternal light shining in darkness, a light never overcome by shadow. The chosen are called not to flee darkness in fear, but to shine brilliantly within it, embodying a harmonious wisdom, strong as serpents, yet gentle as doves. The harmony of wisdom and purity enables the believer to navigate even the darkest valleys with grace. Wisdom harmonizes strength and gentleness, purity and practicality, power and humility. Reflect deeply. Are we embracing a wisdom that balances strength and grace, courage and compassion, truth and love? Moreover, the chosen discover an astounding creative force at work within and through them: the power of the spoken word. Scripture reveals Christ as the Logos, the living word present at creation. His word brought forth life. And similarly, our words possess tremendous creative power. Christ teaches us carefully to guard our tongues, reminding us that our speech either blesses or curses, builds or destroys, uplifts or tears down. When truth is spoken, life flourishes, and the divine presence becomes evident in our world. Conversely, careless or destructive speech disrupts harmony and diminishes life. Are we conscious of the sacred power of our words, shaping reality in accordance with God's truth? Or are we careless, heedlessly sowing discord? Lastly, Christ gently instructs us to recognize life not as a straight, linear path, but as a sacred spiral, an eternal return to lessons we thought mastered yet must revisit again and again. Like Solomon's ancient wisdom proclaiming that nothing under the sun is new, Christ reveals that spiritual growth occurs in cycles, each return deeper, richer, and more profound. Our spiritual journey, therefore, ascends upward toward mastery, each familiar trial becoming a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block. Wisdom gained through trials equips us for greater responsibilities and deeper spiritual insight. But to resist growth, to avoid these cyclical lessons, means stagnating in spiritual immaturity. Reflect carefully. Are we embracing each cycle and return, recognizing trials as opportunities to ascend ever closer toward spiritual mastery? Ultimately, Christ teaches the chosen that theirs is a sacred journey, a delicate balance between calling and response, courageously embracing spiritual battles, carefully building an eternal legacy, harmoniously transcending dualities, intentionally wielding the creative power of words, and wisely recognizing the cyclical nature of spiritual growth. He reminds each chosen one tenderly yet clearly. To be chosen means actively answering his call. To endure means courageously standing firm. To build eternally means treasuring heavenly things. To transcend duality means balancing strength and grace. To speak life means sharing divine truth. And to mature spiritually means joyfully embracing recurring lessons on the ascending path. Christ's words ring clearly and eternally. He who has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the churches. May we, his chosen, faithfully answer his divine voice, courageously confront spiritual battles, carefully weigh our every deed, wisely harmonize within life's dualities, creatively speak his truth, and patiently ascend the spiral staircase toward mastery, ever closer to the fullness of God's glory.